Hello, this is the first assignment for Connie 520 Sustainable Construction. This group is made up of Isabel Mundaka, Lauren Steinberg, Thomas Wickham, and myself, Cal Warren. The building we chose was Building 152 for the facilities crew. Question 1A, we looked at the parking immediately around the building and there were no carpooling spots. This is probably because of SDSU's parking policy where they sell permits. However, there could be some quick changes made for sustainability where we add that at a discounted rate, or we cooperate as a university with the carpool companies, the van shares and ride shares. But there were no carpool spots within the immediate vicinity. For question 1B, public transportation is about 14 minutes away, as shown here on the Google Maps, about a little less than a mile walk to the SDSU Transit Center. Not shown on the map is Lyft and Uber pickup spots right across from the GMCS building, which is a shorter walk. Question 1C, there were no bike racks at this particular facility. However, there were bike racks near the EIS building, the bioscience building, and the art building, which is a short walk away. For question 2A, there weren't particularly open spaces around this building for interaction with the environment. There was some landscaping, which we'll get to into the next question. But as you can see with the picture, it was an industrial shop-oriented building, so there was not a whole lot of interaction there. Additionally, as we'll get to later in the presentation, it's a pretty dated building. So the integration of nature was not really considered at this time. Landscape around the building in question 2B, you can see a photo here. That is the closest landscape. There's a large hill there. That's also the direction all the stormwater drains off into, but that would be the closest natural feature. The other side is shadowed by the bioscience building, loading docks, and the engineering building, trash enclosures. Question 7, question 2C, excuse me, is the building orientated to get the most natural light? No, however, at the time of construction, it might have been. That being said, despite the buildings where they are, there's large windows as shown in the lower picture that allowed for a lot of natural light to infiltrate the structure. And as Mr. David McGrew mentioned at our union tour, the north-south wind does allow for the ventilation. If you see how the roof is as it blows over that, it actually keeps the structure pretty comfortable. The water for this building goes entirely into the storm drains. There's no water catchment here, and you can see a sample of the storm drain, typical storm drain on campus, and then in the lower picture those are highlighted in the light blue. There's a concrete swale to help the water run, and then the two blue circles represent the storm drains located on that property. As you can imagine, it's all graded to lead the water to those two places. Next up will be Isabel.
So as for question 4A, no, we didn't find any elements of water saving or recycling inside this building. I believe particularly this building doesn't have any like showers or bathrooms, water fountains as compared to other buildings. It is mostly very basic. As for question 5A, yes, it used a lot of LED lightning bulbs and natural lighting as well. Inside the shops, we observed that there was a lot of windows which allowed natural light to come in. I believe this was because it was an old building from the 1940s. Back then, natural lighting was widely used as well. Questions 5B. Alright, so this building surprisingly did have its own boiler and cogeneration plant, which generates energy to different buildings on campus, as we know. It was really surprising that we could walk around and we found Tom Abram, who also worked for San Diego State University Sustainable Branch. He explained to us the way the steam boilers used to work with natural gas to trigger steam turbines and generate electricity throughout the campus. Question 6A. Yes, we did see a lot of recyclable bins outside this premises as well as inside, as we could see in the pictures. They were located in the paint and carpentry workshops. Now be to Thomas.
For question 7A, this building utilizes both mechanical and natural ventilation systems. For the paint workshop, there was a north-south oriented hallway to allow for the south to north winds to flow through and ventilate. But when the ventilation fans were turned on, the paint disposal area would induce a north to south wind to ventilate the fumes, while the office spaces and the break rooms were not affected because the south to north wind would meet to the ventilation fan. For question 7B, in our walkthrough, we didn't see any temperature control units. The lighting apparatuses all had their own light switches to allow for a control of which lights were being used when the work crews would need them. For question 7C, certain portions of the building were not open to visibility of the external environment, but the majority of the workrooms, office spaces, and break rooms all had access points or external views. For question 8A, this building was constructed before a lot of the modern conveniences and technologies that we currently use for air conditioning and temperature control. This forced the designers to use a lot more natural elements, such as the large windows, to help increase usability as well as increase the aesthetic design. There were a lot of retrofitted light fixtures, which were upgraded to LED ballasts to help bring down energy consumption. For question 8B, there were a few examples of biomimicry in the building. The most prominent example would be the terracotta tile roofing that is consistent with the southwestern / Spanish colonial stylings. These tiles help reduce heat absorption because of their clay material as well as their red-brown color, as opposed to standard asphalt shingles, which would be black and increase heat consumption. Thank you very much.